What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and whew, I tell you what, my anger and frustration was almost not unjustified, because it still would have been justified because of how awful we were, but it was nearly like covered up by the fact that, hey, at least we made it in the Champions League today, huh? But no, we're not making it in the Champions League. I'm telling you right now, we're not gonna make it in the Champions League. I mean, unless Leicester do not show up at all on the last day and Man U beats them, I mean, we're not gonna beat Wolves. Actually, we might, knowing our inconsistency. But it's like I said after the Man U game. Who cares that Liverpool's on a poor run of form? That actually gives them an advantage, because anytime a team is on a poor run of form and they face us, guess what? Their poor run of form is done. Because we're the pick-me-ups guys. We're the guys that are like, hey, you guys haven't really been winning much here recently. We got you, Liverpool. Here, run all over us. Trample on us like we're just roadkill on the side of the road. Come on. We want Bobby Firmino. You haven't scored. Firmino. Bobby, you haven't scored at all at home this season. We got you. Sit off, guys. Sit off. No pressure. Hey, don't pressure that cross. Let him have time to deliver the pinpoint ball. And then Zuma, Dave, make sure neither of you cover him. And then Kepa, you just keep doing what you do, Kepa. There you go, Firmino. Are you happy now? You scored your goal at home for the first time all season. We love to help. We're glad we can help. There you go. It's just this is why we're not there yet. You know, after the Man U game, I was sitting there thinking, like, I'm worried, because great game we played against Man U. We played very well, but who knows what the next game holds? Who knows what the next game's going to be like? So we send out the exact same team minus the keeper, which I'll talk about that in a little bit. And look at what happens. Let me just check to be sure, because there was like 2 minutes left, but also it was Liverpool's ball, and Mariner was probably just going to let them waste the last 2 minutes, because we all know Mariner loves Liverpool. Let's see. Did it end 5-3? And it did 5-3. Okay. But yeah, so, I mean, the curse of the three strikes again. Except for the Norwich game, ever since we got that 3 on our chest, one of the teams has scored 3. And I don't like that. Unless it's us scoring 3 every game, but it has not been. And that's a problem. And today we couldn't break the curse of the 3. 5-3. And sure enough, all the jokes are going to be Liverpool 5, Chelsea the 3. And that's our problem. We're not consistent. Put out the exact same team from Sunday. I'm sorry, you can't do that, Frank. You can't. I get the idea of, oh, well, we want to build up some momentum. We want to get these guys that are playing well. We want to let them play more. Great. They get tired. The way that Mount and Willian play, you can't play them every single game like this. Willian, honestly, I thought has been on kind of a decline for the past few games, because he's started every match since we got back. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not the one against Leicester. But he's played almost every match, and almost every match he goes almost the whole 90. You can't do that. Even Conte can't do that. And Conte's got an engine like a freaking train. You got to give him a break. Mount, he's young, he works hard. You can't play him starting, 2 games in a row, full 90. You can't do that when it's this close. He'll give you one good game and then this game. Kovacic and Jorginho worked well against Man U because their midfield is not that great. Liverpool's midfield is better. We need more numbers in the midfield. We can't go with a 2 in the midfield. We got to go 3. That was a mistake. Going 3 in the back, I don't necessarily mind it, but because it only puts us with 2 in the midfield, it's not good enough. We can't do that today. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, wouldn't that put us under more defensive, or under more stress in the defense? Well, yeah, a little bit. But one of our midfielders would drop back and help out. But we needed more numbers in the midfield today. So whether that means Mount's got to drop back in, or, go with 2 strikers up top and drop a mid. I don't know. You can't go with 2 against Liverpool, though. I know that much. Because they go 4-3-3, and those 3 in the midfield, they're going to run around you a lot. And Kovacic and Jorginho are not good enough to do that by themselves. So I'm raising a lot of questions of Frank today, because I've defended him for most of this season, but some of his decisions in the past few games have not been good enough, and this was kind of a pinnacle. To send out the exact same team unchanged. Again, I understand the idea. I understand the concept of we played well in the weekend, maybe we'll get another good performance. But when you're playing so many games back to back to back, you can't do that. You can't play the same team 2 games in a row when there's 3 days. Not even 3 days. We played Sunday, 1, 2, 3 days later, you got to play again. You can't send out the exact same team because they're not going to be, they're not going to be, quick enough. They're not going to be up to speed. So I'm going to save Kepa for last because that one will probably take up the majority of the video. As far as the back three is concerned, none of them really played well, but also none of them made any huge mistakes either. They all had their moments where they did something stupid, but honestly, I can't pinpoint any three of them for the goals. They were all just kind of there, but not really doing anything. So it's like their inaction is what I'm blaming them for. It's not really that they did something wrong, like what Rudiger did against West Ham that everybody blasted him for. It's more like Christensen in the same game where his non-decisions are what caused a lot of issues. That's kind of how it felt today. Nobody was really picking up players. Nobody was really marking very well. Nobody was tracking runs very well. There wasn't a lot of communication. We looked completely disorganized back there. James and Alonso, neither of them had a really good game. James got a little bit more in the attack in the second half once Hudson-Odoi started making some runs for him that Willian wasn't in the first half for some reason. But defensively, he was caught out quite a bit. Alonso today, nope. I can remember there have been times when I'm just like, Alonso just needs to go. This is one of the games that I point to and say, he's still not good enough. He's a great left wing back, but defensively, if we're facing a team where they've got a lot going forward, I worry about having him in. Because when we're playing teams like Norwich, we're playing teams like, bottom half of the table, West Ham, if we're playing a team like Man U, he's a great player because we don't have to worry as much about them going forward. So we don't have to worry about Alonso getting caught out or not being good enough defensively. Not tracking the run of Oxlade-Chamberlain as he runs in behind him. We don't have to worry about that when we're facing most of the teams in the Premier League. But when we face Liverpool, he's an issue. He's a liability defensively, and it's not good enough. So, disappointed with both of them. Kovacic, he had some decent moments, but then also he had a few moments that were not good at all. I will grant him it was not a foul against Mane. I don't know what Andre Mariner was watching. Honestly, I don't know what he's watching for most of the game. But yeah, I don't blame him for the second goal because he got the ball and then Mane realized that he lost the ball and then went and fell over and Andre Mariner was like, I wonder if is that Klopp holding some money? Oh, that's a foul. It was so blatantly a dive. It reminded me of the Bruno Fernandes foul where Kovacic slid in, didn't get him or the ball, and then he realized his touch took him away, and he realized there was a slight bit of contact, and so then he takes a step and then falls. Mane did the exact same thing, and they were both fouls somehow. It's like, do referees, are they not aware of the game? Are they not aware that players do this all the time? Because it doesn't seem like they know or understand that most of the time that's a flop, that's a dive, because there wasn't any contact, the ball goes away, and it was a little contact, I'm going to fall over now. So, but yeah, overall, he was very back and forth. Jorginho, on the other hand, was just always awful throughout the entire game. Again, shows why we need to get a better midfielder in there. I don't know if any of the players coming in, Havertz might be. I got to look that up. But yeah, without Conte, we look weak in the midfield. Honestly, I was wondering why Frank didn't sub him off at any point because it just felt like he needed to go. Especially after, the first goal, fantastic strike, but what's Jorginho doing? Everybody's like, oh, Willian, huge mistake by Willian. What's he even doing? I'm like, he's trying to keep hold of the ball while Kovacic and Jorginho are just kind of watching. Kovacic makes the wrong decision to step this way, thinking Willian's going to flick it to him. But what's Jorginho doing? He literally watched the whole time, and then when Willian flicked it, trying to get it to Kovacic, and Kovacic didn't read it and went the other way, well, now Jorginho is the closest man. He should be stepping in to win it, but he just stayed. And then Keita's like, oh, okay, I'll take this into this space that has just been created because he didn't want to step to him. So he's not good enough defensively. The last goal too, all he's got to do in that case is just step in front of Robertson. You know, you don't have to foul him. You don't have to, try to chase him. Literally just put yourself in front of him. But instead, what does he do? Crap, he's past me. Let me kick at him. Oh, I missed that too. He can't even foul him right. And then it leads to the 5th goal that puts us out of the game completely. I mean, it's embarrassing to watch him try to defend. And also, he's not passing as well as he was like earlier in the season. Beginning of the season, terrible player. Didn't want him in the team. Finally started growing into it. I thought he started looking better. Some of his passes through were looking much better than they were last season under Sarri. I'm thinking he's finally become the midfielder we want him to be. Since the break, nothing. I've not seen one game where I'm thinking, yeah, I wanted Jorginho in there. Every match that he's played, which he wasn't at first, I'm thinking, why is he not playing? And then Conte and Gilmore both get hurt. Now he's playing, and he's not justifying being in there. I'm not quite at Barkley level with him. Like, I still want him over Barkley. But honestly, I'm like, why not Mount and Kovacic in the midfield? And then you can bring Pulisic in, because I'll get to him too. But, I mean, really, why do you still have Jorginho in there? I get that he's a certain type of player, and you're lacking a distributor if you take him out. But at this point, anybody except for Barkley in there right now would be better. Because he just doesn't have the physical ability to do it. He doesn't seem to have the awareness to do it. I mean, I said in the weekend against Man U, maybe that midfield 2 would help him open up a bit more. It would allow him to play a bit more comfortably. But today, I mean, it just showed he's not good enough to be there. Front 3, I'm going to attribute it again to just tiredness. And it's a hard call because if you don't play him, then you're like, well, why aren't you playing Giroud, Willian, Mount? Because they all played well in the weekend. But at the same time, it's 3 days. You got to give at least one of them a break. Get somebody new in that front 3, so that way they're doing the work, which helps the other 2. But all 3 of them were still clearly tired from the weekend. So now nobody's working. And I'm watching 3 guys just kind of, oh yeah, nope. Oh, ball to me, pass me. Oh. It was slow, it was boring. There was no energy. And don't get me wrong, first part of the game, yeah, there was some energy. There was a little bit because we were actually working as a team and we were moving the ball around, but then we gave up that first goal and it was back to individuals. And when you get like that, I mean, especially with how tired they were, there was nothing that you were going to get from any 3 of them. So, yeah, I think I got to blame the front 3 today mainly on Frank because you got to give him a rest at some point. You got to bring in somebody new into that front 3, inject a little bit of energy, but he didn't. And honestly, I'm thinking he didn't bring Pulisic off the bench against Man U, probably because he's saving him for Liverpool. And then he didn't start him. So I don't know what the thinking was there, but we definitely paid for it. As far as the subs that came on, Pulisic, obviously man of the match just for being on there for 30 minutes. I mean, you could have started just from that first run. Why didn't you start him, Frank? Why did you not start him? Hell, why didn't you make any subs at halftime? Why not bring him on at halftime? Now we have an extra 15 minutes where he and Abraham could have gotten into the game a bit more. But you waited, they got goal number 4, and then you made the subs. It's too late at that point. And I will go off on a little tangent on that. What happened at halftime? That's what I want to know. Because going into the end of the first half, I'm thinking, all right, we got that goal at the end. Good. Now we have something to build on. Make a couple subs at halftime. Get some new energy on the field. Get into them at halftime. Say, hey, that's not good enough. Let's do this. No subs. No change to our play. Goal number 4 within 10 minutes. There was no changes at all. No changes in our style. No changes in our tactic. No changes in the energy level. No subs. It was the exact same as we came off. Minus the goal. The way we were playing up until because the bit with the goal, it was like a blip at the end of the first half. First 20 minutes, we were good. After they scored their goal, dropped off. It was one-way traffic. And then there was a little blip where we got that goal, and I'm thinking, well, let's build on that. But then we went right back to playing how we were, and then we gave up goal number 4. So, again, raising questions for Frank here, why were there no changes at all? Like, how is it, as a manager, you send your team back out and don't make any subs, At the very least, that means there should be a change of style or a change of energy. There should be some change going out there if you're not going to make any subs, but there wasn't. It was still the same. It was more of the same until goal number 4, and then he's like, all right, well, now we'll make the subs. What did you say? Go out there and show me what you can do? Exactly in that voice? Because it should have been more forceful. Should have said, hey, play for your jobs. Because we've got some talent coming in next year. If you want to be here next year, show me why. But instead, it seems like he's sending back out there. He's like, all right, guys, it's a good first half. We got a goal. That's nice. So, yeah, more of that. Go on. And then goal number 4. So, anyway, sorry on that little tangent. But, yeah, Pulisic, Abraham both came on, really brought some energy. Pulisic brought a little bit more of the, I guess, the flair, the willingness to take on defenders, a work rate that was not there from Mason Mount for most of the game. Abraham just came on, a lot of energy. Giroud, great. He's a great striker, but he doesn't have as much speed or as much energy as Abraham does. He brings stronger physical presence, so he'll put more pressure. But this was a game where it clearly showed whenever we brought on our quicker striker, because all of a sudden now the defense is having to play under a bit more pressure. Hudson-Odoi looked better than he did against Man U. I still think he didn't really go out there with as much energy and, like, I guess, not really work rate, because he did work a bit harder today, but there's still just something missing from his game. And it just really shows, because you send out those 3, and of the 3, I mean, Hudson-Odoi, I hardly remember anything he did except for a couple, half chances that he created. And mainly it was from James's balls in behind. And even then, there were still a couple where I'm thinking, why don't you go? Because he's just sort of, hey, here to my feet. But the space is in behind. And then James lays it in behind because that's where he needs to go. And he's like, oh, crap. And then turns on to go get it, but it's too late. And there were several moments like that from him where I'm just like, be ready, be prepared, be on your toes. So when the ball comes to you, boom, you're ready to go. But he's not. He's waiting, he's watching, and then the ball comes to him, and then he's on it. Then he's like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to go. But at that point, it's too late. I remember there was a moment where ball kept going right, Zuma to the defense, Zuma to the defense, Zuma to the defense. Every single time, Hudson-Odoi was a player in that vicinity where he's here, Zuma heads it out. Okay, he's already got to it. Zuma heads it out. Oh, okay, he beat me to it. Zuma heads it out. I got it this time. Oh, he beat me to it. It happened like 3 or 4 times in a row, and Hudson-Odoi was mainly the guy that could have been there, that could have put pressure on him to make him miss, but instead he just stood and watched and let Zuma head it out 4 times and let it come right back to him. Why? Because he doesn't know how to work hard. Because I think it's in his head that he's this superstar. He's comfortable. I don't know for sure. I hope this isn't the case, but that's what it seems like to me. Everybody raves about Hudson-Odoi. Everybody raves about how good a player he's going to be. He's got a future here at Chelsea. He's going to be one of our stars coming forward. He's not showing it. He's not doing enough anymore. He got linked with a big club like Bayern Munich, and now what's he doing? He's not giving us anything anymore, and that's a problem. He's still got some talent, but he's got to learn to grit it out. Because he's not doing enough to bust it and put some pressure on the defense, put a challenge in. It's all flicks and tricks whenever it comes to him and maybe reacting to it. It's not enough. And all that leads to, of course, the pinnacle of what we need for next season. Let's talk about Kepa. First of all, biggest mistake for me, for Frank today, Kepa should have come off. Kepa should have come off at halftime. I will give him the first one. He tried for it. It was a great shot. I still think if we had a keeper with longer arms, probably would have saved that. But you know what? I'll give it to him. He tried for it. He actually made an effort. Fair enough. All of those goals, all of them, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 2 of them, actually 3 of them, rooted to the ground. The last one should have gotten back across quicker. and should have gotten a stronger hand on it. But he didn't. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's talk about goal number 2. Great shot. I'll give it. Great free kick. Shouldn't have been a free kick because, Mane dove and Andre Mariner's an idiot. But it's a great free kick. Curls it around the wall. That's fine. Make an effort. Make any effort. And then I'll be like, you know what? That's a great free kick. He deserves that one. Kepa, you did everything you could, but that's a great free kick. And if this was one-time thing, I'd just say, all right, I guess maybe just the swerve of the ball kind of put him off a little bit. But this is not a one-time thing. This isn't every single time a free kick comes in and it's on target. Guess who's standing and watching it? Kepa a tree Zabalaga. That works way too well, by the way, because I made that joke to myself during the game. Like, Kepa a tree Zabalaga. That's comedy gold right there. But he stands and watches it, and the problem is, I'm a high school keeper coach. Not anymore, but I used to coach keepers at the high school level. I've got minimum knowledge of being a keeper, because I was not a keeper when I played. So my knowledge comes from just kind of watching some training videos, working with some keepers, learning, like how to move your feet and stuff and how to position yourself. So my knowledge is bare minimum. How is it at the professional level, at the top of pretty much the level that you can achieve for, Premier League, Chelsea, how is it that none of the keeper coaches have gone to him and said, hey, let's work on moving your feet? Because as soon as that shot comes in, you see him pop to the side, stand. It's not a pop to push, which is what it should be. He should be, when that first step should be onto his toes, so he's ready to pounce and get there. Instead, that step right to his heel. And when you get to your heel as a keeper, you're done. You're beat. Same thing happened for the third goal. That cross comes in. Jorginho, ironically enough, is the one that doesn't deal with it. Goes straight to Wijnaldum. Shot comes in. Where's Kepa? Falling backwards on his heels. Flapping at it. Instead of being up on his toes, ready. Shot comes in. Maybe he pop. Little hand over. Nope. He's on his heels. Flapping as it goes in the top of the net. The Firmino goal. Standing again. Great cross. Should have put pressure on it, Marcus Alonso. I mean, well-headed. Somebody should have put pressure on him, Zuma or Spilicueta. But Kepa just stands and watches it. This is why I don't understand how Man U fans can get so frustrated with De Gea. Does he make some mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. But I tell you what, he tries for every single thing. He at least puts an effort in. His mistakes are just a bit more technical, and honestly, he faces a lot of shots because the Man U defense kind of sucks. Kepa doesn't face a whole lot of shots, but the ones he does, I'm always nervous they're going to go in because he's not moving his feet. He's not trying. Goal number 5, cross comes in. Goes all the way through. Yeah, somebody should have been there to block it. Alonso should have tracked the run of Oxlade-Chamberlain. He shouldn't have stopped his run so he could put himself in front of it. But here's the thing, that's a simple shot. A little tap. Where's Arrizabalaga? Oh, still running across the goal because he didn't move his feet quick enough. How can you not get there? It's not like it was the quickest cross in the world. You should have already been all the way across the goal. Problem is, he's still almost on the other post when Oxlade-Chamberlain's tapping that in, so he has to dive now instead of already being over there. And then the coup de grace should have been 6 because that cross comes in right across the 6-yard box. Where are you, Kepa? That's your box, isn't it? I don't care how Chelsea fans feel about Courtois. That was his ball all day. We do not have a keeper that owns his box anymore. Anytime a cross comes in, when a cross came in for Courtois, it was his. Now, his shot stopping obviously needed a lot of work. He needed nets between his legs. We've seen the jokes. We've seen all of that. Yeah, it's true. Shot stopping was not Courtois' specialty. But I tell you what, I was never nervous on corners. I was never nervous on free kicks that were dumped in because I knew Courtois was going to be there 95% of the time. With Kepa, he's not there 95% of the time. And that cross, perfect example. He is rooted to his spot. And if not for the fact that Van Dijk, I think honestly Van Dijk was just caught off guard. He's just like, wait, he didn't touch? Oh, crap. He didn't realize it was going to come all the way through because he's just thinking, oh, this is the keeper's ball. And then all of a sudden now he's having to react and try to turn it on target. But excuse me for a second. I should have looked this up beforehand. I'll admit that was my mistake. €80 million, 71.6 million pounds. That's the biggest thing out of all of this. It's not, I'm frustrated. Of course, I'm frustrated with his keeping. I'm frustrated with his ability. I'm frustrated that he doesn't try half the time. But the thing that makes it unbearable, the thing that makes me want to find whoever's in charge of the transfers, whoever didn't do their job to get Courtois tied down to another contract, whoever didn't do their job to scout another keeper that's worth our money, and go ahead and have it lined up in case Courtois doesn't come back. Whoever was in charge of all of that should be sacked. That was my phone. Whoever did all of that, whoever's mistake that is, I don't care. That is embarrassing. 71.6 million pounds. And the man cannot do the basic thing, move your feet. He's not even good in the air. Oh, but he's good with his feet. Is he? Honestly, I don't see him doing anything spectacular with his feet. Ederson and Alisson, yeah, I'll see them do some nice stuff, some good passes out. I'll see them clearing stuff out with their feet, and it goes right to a striker. I'll see, hell, I think both of them have assisted at some point. I don't see Kepa doing anything clever with his feet. So, why did we sign him? Because it was a panic buy. You know what? People talked about, Frank's man management was good. He sat him for a bit, let Willie take charge. That was good. Well, where was that now? Because clearly it wasn't good enough. Whatever he did, there was a minute where Kepa seemed like maybe he was starting to come into his own a little bit more. Maybe he was finally becoming a better keeper. He's not. The past few weeks have proven he's not. So this was the perfect time to set an example. To say, hey, you didn't move on, obviously at halftime it was still 3, but you didn't move on goal number 2. You flapped at goal number 3. It's not good enough. Get off. Willie, go warm up. Would it be a tough decision? Yeah. Would he have gotten criticized for it? Yeah. But you know what? Not making a decision, not doing that, in my opinion, just as bad, if not worse. Because you're essentially saying, hey, that's okay. That's okay. I know you're worth a lot of money, so that's okay. We're not going to criticize you too harshly for that. Well, I don't see why I need to get better then if I'm Kepa. If they're going to keep playing me, if I don't have to move my feet, if I can give up 5 goals, 4 of which are my fault, if I can do that and I don't get benched, where's the worry? I'm fine, guys. Just keep playing me. I'll just keep doing what I do. And it's not good enough. So, going into the last day, the only thing that we have going for us is that Wolves are not on a terrible run of form right now. So, there's that. Because if they were on a bad run of form, then I'd definitely be worried about us getting 8 points. But I tell you what, though, it frustrates me that we have to go into the last day hoping that Man U gets a win. And honestly, even then, we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be in that mindset. Because Now, if that is what happens, guess what? Now we're fourth. Even if we beat Wolves, if Man U wins, guess what? We're fourth. So now we're having to do a playoff game into the Champions League. Do we want to be there? No. We should be third. We should be third, above Man U, above Leicester. We should have done our jobs today, at least gotten a point out of this. I'm not saying beat Liverpool at home on the day that they're going to raise the trophy. Yeah, that's going to be a hard ask. But the way that we just conceded and the way that we just rolled over, especially because they were talking about, oh, Liverpool looking like champions today. No, we rolled over and let them look like champions. We didn't do anything to put them under pressure. They were honestly bad today. They created so many chances for us that we wasted. Like, from bad passes in the back, from missed tackles. I mean, we had so many chances to put this game to bed early. We wasted, then we started giving them the game. We stepped off, they scored a goal, we stepped off more, and then all of a sudden it's 3. And they're cruising because they have all the confidence, and we have none. So, realize I went on a long rant, but you know what? If we don't make Champions League because of this game and then next week too, because next week it is in our hands, but if we end up in fourth because of this game, I'm going to have some issues. I'm going to have some issues with Frank. If Kepa is still in goal next week, I don't care. I don't care. Well, actually, it's this weekend, but I don't care if Willie is considered your second string. After this performance, Kepa should not play again. He should be sold. 5 goals. 5. That's... Anyways, I'm done talking about it, so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.